Fempreneur Friday is a conscious entrepreneurship community and a safe space where consciousness meets cool in divine feminine celebration and where we align over hustle.
Think about it as your own delicious happy hour for the week. It is a live, raw, and real community conversation with us, your girlfriends.
I'm Brett Sims, an entrepreneur, artist, and the founder of the global art nonprofit Step Designs.
And me, Stacey Wigiseria. I'm a mom, author, esthetician, self-love coach, and founder of Exalted Woman Being. We are here to elevate in the community and connect with you all. If you're ready to take your spirituality and business to the next level, join us.
Happy Fempreneur Friday, season 2. We hope you guys liked our new intro.
We just keep on diving in. I feel like we are getting also our flow as it keeps on continuing, and really kind of wanting to just be more and more real, right? We started our conversations like how we normally do, and we had our catch up, but we're like, okay, you know what? Let's bring some of this also to our conversation here.
Yeah.
So we're exploring that way of also podcasting today.
Well, yes. And also in season 1, we were going live on IG, and we're actually not going live. Well, we're live. We're live here now. But you guys will hear us later, on the pod. But it's kind of more intimate this way. And I like it this way because it's really just like us having our weekly conversations that we would have anyway. And we're going to ultimately bring some guests into that.
Yeah.
So, but not like every episode, but here and there.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I have a great thing to share. Even if you're starting a podcast or starting in your business or starting to share, this is a lot of things that come up in my workshop too when I am speaking with my students is, starting is hard, right? Starting is the hardest part. And sometimes we just do not want to be seen as a beginner.
Right.
And this is a good transition into what we're talking about today, like protecting your energy around your business. And also just protecting your own energy. Like part of it's protecting our energy, like how other people see us and like what we're saying to other people, but also just remembering for ourselves. Because I think that I'll speak from my own experience is that sometimes it does feel really weird to start as a beginner or to be seen as a beginner or like to not know everything before we go. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like, I've watched some people, and also I've had judgments. So that's even more so, right? Like I have judgments about people. So I could imagine people having judgments about me, right? So then that's when we get like nervous because we're like, oh my gosh, I've had judgments. So imagine what people are saying about me. Oh my God. And they probably are not. Maybe because you're just more judgmental over people, and you're just also, that means you're more judgmental over yourself, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why I say
we're just a reflection of ourselves.
Exactly. And then, so I know that's had me chicken out of a lot of things. But, like I watched another girlfriend. I remember when she started her YouTube and she was doing makeup, and she's not a makeup artist. She just started just showing her makeup, and it was like, okay, but she just kept on doing it,
That's what it is with YouTube.
And the thing is, that's not even how she ended up getting famous on YouTube. She is really big, and I'm not going to say who it is, but she's amazing. And actually, it was further down the line, as she kept on doing YouTubes, she told a story that ended up getting picked up by the news.
Wow.
And that story, actually, she kept on doing stories like that. And then it became like a lifestyle brand. And she does like this whole lifestyle brand now. She's doing so well, her and her husband and her family. Like, I'm so excited for them. But see, just like, even also, you don't know like where you start is like actually what's going to happen from there, right? It actually might just take you to the path that you needed to go. But if she didn't start with makeup, she wouldn't have landed her lifestyle.
Right. And that's why I love YouTube, because like you can like you can make your own playlists, so you can be like, okay, I do makeup, but hey, like I'm also good at speaking, and I'm also good at like interviewing, so maybe like let me do a series about that too.
Yes. Like you might actually explore to what you might actually find the path by just starting. And I think that's what we're excited about bringing here, and actually having you watch along our journey.
Right.
Starting and just doing one step in front of the other, like your path starts being revealed. And And actually, I'm excited about even just saying this and processing this with Brett, because this also helps me. Like it's starting to like help things fit together. Because even as I'm saying it, as it's coming to me, as the downloads are coming to me, I'm like, oh yeah. Like this is why this is happening, because I have a couple things to share that I will share it in a second. But that's definitely one of the parts, is like being the beginner. And the second part is there's this book by Russell Brunson that I tell my students about a lot, especially if they're an expert or if they're trying to sell their expertise. It's called Expert Secrets, which makes sense. And one of the things that he says is talking about how you're a beginner also your audience is also a beginner listening to you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, as you get better, mm-hmm. your audience starts listening to you more as well. So if you can imagine, like you're just starting, and let's say you're a beginner, you're not that great at speaking. Mm-hmm. People are not really tuning in that much anyway right now. Like mm-hmm. you have a smaller audience, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, by the time they are tuning in, because how many times like you've seen people, like I know with Danielle, since I work with Danielle now, like I've seen her so many times, and then finally I tuned in one day, like, what mm-hmm. is she actually saying, right? Or like other people, other speakers, other people that you follow, like you see them so many times. Go ahead.
But with that, it's like, you're her friend. You're a friend, right? You knew her, right? Like before she kind of started that channel. And sometimes I think we have to remind ourselves that usually it will not be our friends, you know, who do start tuning in. And, you know, maybe our friends will start picking up, you know, later on, because they'll be like, oh, let me finally watch this thing that she's been talking about forever and ever, and this weird stuff that she's always doing. Let me talk about it. But sometimes, the strangers, the people we don't know, like that we are attracting to us, those are the people who elevate and bolster up. That's what I want to say. Made that into one word. You know, like really bolster up our communities and what we're doing and what we're building. And a shameless plug, I just started my YouTube channel like about this this week, maybe a little bit last week, but it's super new for me. And so check that out too. I'll link it in the show notes below. And before you go on, a beginner's mind is what I was going to say. That reminded me of what you were talking about. Yeah. Because beginner's mind is actually a Zen Buddhist principle. And I followed it a lot when I went to started meditating and went to the East Bay Meditation Center. And they really have this concept of you are always a beginner's mind. And when you always start projects like this, start projects like what Stacey's going to talk about in a bit, like you are starting things in the here and now, fresh and new, and without shame, without embarrassment, without people even judging, because you're like, I'm always a beginner, because life is fantastic and new and fresh and exciting, and I get to be like a little kid starting new things and be excited about it, and don't let society shame me about like starting over or starting fresh or starting anything new, because I have an open, expansive, new beginner's mind every time. And every time you come back to even old things, you should always come back to it like, I have a beginner's mind, you know? I just had to add that a little bit.
So good. I love that. Okay. Yes. Yeah. And you know what? I'm just going to reiterate literally what you said, because it's just like honing in on me right now too, where you're right. Like a lot of the times in the beginning, it's not our friends or our family. And sometimes we get tripped up like that. Like, oh my God, why are they not supporting me and so on? It's because they're not your target audience.
It's not for them.
Your target market.
It's not for them.
It's not for them. And maybe they'll be along later, but you know what? They're going to have a friend of a friend that they refer you to, but it's just not for them yet. You know, It's not for them. And to keep reminding ourselves about that, because again, we can get really, really tripped up about having the non-support, but just remember that, like Brett saying, it's like going to be for the people that it's for. Mm-hmm. And even this is the thing that I often tell my students too, is that like we have our own vibration, right? Like even the own sound, like, yes, we have our energy frequency and we're all energy, but we even have like our own sound, like my voice and my sound and Brett's voice and her sound is going to resonate and be for someone, because that's what it is, right? Right. It's like when you're tuning into a radio station, like some days you want to hear something nice and slow, and sometimes you need something a little bit more upbeat. It really just depends on where you are, the timing of things, and also like what's for you in that moment. So that really helps me starting, like, just settle down, like come back down, Stacey, like stop worrying about all the things and just like, breathe.
Yep.
Be for who you are for, and just like keep on going, because there's somebody that really needs to hear your message from you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part of that is sometimes we look at people that are so far ahead of where we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think, first of all, they have had to do something to get there. So that's the first thing, right? So we don't know their actual walk of what it takes for them to have gotten there.
You never know.
You never know. You will never know, right? We only know our own path. And then also, some people need someone 5 steps ahead, but some people need you where you are right now, exactly where you are. Because I may need a coach that is making $10 million, but actually I need to maybe just learn how to make my first 10,000. So I'm going to work with a coach that's just working on making your first 10,000, not making $1 million. You know what I mean? I'm just like not there yet. Or someone, that's making your first 1,000, like work with you to make your first 1,000, those types of things. Or again, it could just be on all different levels. For me, and my coaching is around beauty and, my own plug here, around beauty, around like really stepping into your highest self, your spirituality, stepping into your purpose. And someone may not need that right now, right? Or someone actually, that's the only thing they need.
But it's about that, right? It's about being your own plug. It's about, we're teaching other women to be their own plug, to be your biggest fan, to stand up for yourself and stand your ground, and stand up for your business even when people might not be aligned to it.
Oh my God, I love this. Like people may not see your vision,
right?
Because it's not their vision to see. Like, God gave you that vision. Like they didn't give them that vision, they gave it to you. So that's your vision to really. And
this is, and it really does tie into this idea of protecting your energy, protecting your magic, because you can't let people around you, your friends, all of those judgments, staring eyes, whatever, like those, in spirituality, call it, the evil eye. You can't let that shake you off your ground, and shake you off your balance. Because I think that that's really easy to do. That's really easy to happen. And a lot of people, I mean, in my life too, I have just been I don't know about this thing. I don't know if this is going to happen for me or this, because it didn't happen that person did it or whatever. But when you can stand your ground and really go within and really just harness your energy, your passion for your brands, your passion for what it is you're doing, and not let the outside world shake you, I think then that's really when you're in your power, and that's when you're really protecting your personal energy and your business's energy. For sure.
Yes, so good. And then back to what we were saying in the beginning about, one, you being a beginner, also their audience being a beginner listening to you. Imagine now, you've gotten better and better and better. And by the time that they do tune in, it's whoa, what is she, what has she been doing over these last couple weeks, months, years? Whenever they tune in, you're just whoa, you're so far ahead. And now it matches to where they are and where you are. So I love to keep that in mind too. It's just just keep going. Some people, you know what I mean? Our attention span, because there's so many different things right now, is so quick. We think that people are worried about what we're doing. They're worried about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Again,
and I think
we're
that
the person for, and don't worry around the rest.
Yes, exactly. And I think with going along with protecting your energy and everything, for my nonprofit Step Designs, our tagline is self-love first. But this week I really had to question myself in that, and I've I forget one of my spiritual teachers, because I'm in a few Patreons of different spiritual teachers who give great talks and everything, and really uplift my day before it even gets started sometimes. And it's just in those spaces, and someone was really talking about asking yourself the right questions and allowing that to kind of help move through any tricky and tough energy. And so I kind of been asking the question this week, well, am I really loving myself first in this circumstance? In anything that it is, in any little tiny thing that it is, even if it's making this post before doing this thing, or even if it's like putting, answering this, DM for someone before, I don't know, like taking out my laundry or something. Just, am I putting myself first in those circumstances? Because I really believe that self-love is your greatest protection, and especially during, I feel like I'm always saying like during these times, and like eventually people are gonna like listen back like, what do you mean, like now, like this time that we're in? Because but this new age that we're kind of entering into, I feel like just remembering that's why I have it on t-shirts, self-love first, and like everything as an affirmation to remember, because when you do that, things really do shift for your business, the way you're protected, the way things are structured for yourself. And someone also asked the question this week, like, when has putting anything or anyone ever above yourself actually worked out? Like, when has that worked out for you ever? And I was like, oh shit, like never. Like, and she was like, well, and so how long are you going to keep doing it? How long are you going to keep putting other people before, A, B, and C that you need to do for your business this day, or how you need to have your quiet time and your meditation and whatever? Because when you really hone into you and do these, honestly, once you actually do them, very simple tasks for yourself, more gateways and doorways open for opportunities, and the more like your energy and like this kind of like energetic force field around your business can be protected, and people can't push and sway you off your track and what you're doing, because it's like you're loving yourself first, you're putting each task that is your love first, and then once you can do that, you're full in your own love and passion and excitement for what it is you're doing. So then it just like opens up more opportunities and for more people to authentically love you back. And it gives you think that it gives you less time, in your mind for yourself, for whatever it is that you're doing or whatever you're trying to rush to next. But it's actually opening up more space and more doorways and protecting your energy even more. So that's really thing like self-love first is like one of my prime, philosophies in protecting your energy and business energetics.
Love it.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
I had this quote I wanted to share, but I can't find it. So I'll share it when it pops up. I'm looking for it. But I just think that standing up for, and I don't mean like you have to just like, be like, my business is the best and everything that I do is the best. And you don't have to be like cocky about it. But I think like standing in that firm self-love about what it is that you're doing is so powerful, because, the only thing people really are judging when because they're probably, not doing what is their calling, not following through on what it is their dreams. And so sometimes it's triggering and a bit agitating to others to see you kind of like walking forward and doing, A, B, and C, what you need to fulfill what is your dream. But we all have our own dreams. We all have our own paths, like, and there is no competition. Like, we said before, your only reflection is, and your only competition is you. Like, it's just, people are reflections of you, circumstances are reflections of you ultimately. And it's like, we have to tap in and really just, when you bring that love into you, then you bring that love into your business, and then it just expands outwardly. And man, when you really love what you do, it's just like no one can get in the way of you. Like when you're in that creative flow of whatever you're building or whatever you're creating or speaking, no one can really get in that way of it anyway, because love is so protecting, Yeah. I never realized how protecting it was, honestly.
Until you get there, right? And
yeah.
Imagine like someone that, and also saying that we also, have those different points in the, what we're starting and when it comes up. But the only thing is that the difference is that we notice it. Like we have that consciousness, and that's why we're having this conversation, like the consciousness conversation.
Gratitude.
It's not that we are, what is it? It's not that we are not touched by this. I forgot the word to use, but
affected.
not that we're not affected or that we're like, oh, it's not that we're immune. There we go. It's not that we're immune to these things that come up, but we just have a consciousness about it. So the difference is like, for example, if you're feeling judgment, right? Mm-hmm. You're feeling judgment, and it could be very well, judgment is happening, right? Judgment is happening. The thing is, why am I feeling judgment? Is it because like I also have, that's why we're talking about a reflection.
Am I judging myself?
Yes, like I have a judgment of myself, and that's why it's pertain like, and it means that it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Like there's a truth happening, right? Okay, now we're really going deep. There's a truth happening, but the thing is that the reason why it's affecting us or triggering us is because we do have it within too. Mm-hmm. So the opposite way of thinking about that is, one, if you're experiencing that, then you know that there's some more work to do.
Right.
And there's work to do on your side first.
Right.
Yes, this person, I don't condone what they're saying and what they're saying. There's just work to do here first. And then you will become more stronger. Because when someone feels a judgment on their own, like you can even recognize when people are having that judgment on themselves, right? They come up a little bit more timid. They come up a little bit more confident about the things that they're doing. Yep. And that's why there's judgment. Yep.
Right?
That's why there is judgment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, just noticing that within you, and just like if you're seeing that or seeing that reflection or having that like always consistently happening, like, okay, like why am I attracting this? What's happening? How can I give myself what it is that I need?
Yep.
So like if it's attention, if you wish people would give you a little bit more support, how can you support yourself more?
Right. I was thinking about
more words of affirmation. What is it?
I was thinking about neglect too. Like if you're feeling neglected or like, you know, people aren't, like you just said, people aren't supporting you. Well, how am I neglecting myself?
Yes.
Like, you know, neglecting pieces of my own projects or pieces, you know, of my own dream. Like, how am I not showing up for myself in the way that I want people to show up for me?
And
like, how can I pour into communities?
And this is why people say, like, oh, it happens when you least expect it. It's not that you expect it. It's just that you no longer have your attention and expectation on that thing. Yep. So another thing I remember is like, well, I don't know if Myth will listen to this or not. Myth is my husband, but if he listens to it, I'm sure it's going to be fine. But one time I remember I was like getting upset because I was like, I wanted him to, it was around like us getting married. Okay. So then I wanted him to make a post.
Myth is her husband.
And also, because I had made a post and I wanted him to make a post. And then also I wanted him to share with his family. I just wanted some things from him, right? I was in a mood and I wanted him to do certain things and I wanted to be sharing about me, basically. I wanted him to bring all of his attention and celebration on me. Yeah. And I was arguing with him about it, and he was like, you know, I'm gonna do what I want. You know, like I'm gonna put.
Yeah, that's so an Aquarius. He's an Aquarius. That's completely Aquarius behavior.
Okay, so he's like, it's not like people know that we're blah, blah, you know, like
right. They're not gonna do.
I get it because I was going through a thing. But also what came deeper, because again, luckily I have done this work and I've been doing this work. And like I said, it's not that we're not immune or that we don't make mistakes, but it's like, it's a filter to where now I can also start looking back and like, okay, what is it within me? Yeah. So then what I noticed is, oh my gosh, like I looked at my own page, my own Instagram and my Facebook, everything that I have. And you know what? I realized that within months, okay, it had been months since I actually even posted a picture of myself. Like I hadn't even been celebrating myself. I hadn't been taking pictures like how I used to. You know, I'm a mama, and I feel like I haven't had the space to get ready like I used to get ready, you know? So, but it's like no point in complaining about all those things because that's just like not my life anymore, right? This is my life. And if I want to feel beautiful, like I have to take the time and attention to feel that way for myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. Like I want him to celebrate me and I'm not even celebrating myself. But I immediately dropped it. He was surprised. And of course, what does he do? He starts posting about me all the time. You know, like now he's like trying to take pictures and like, I'm the one like, oh no, I don't want to take pictures right now. And he pushes me all the time. And I'm like, okay, you know, this is really what it is. And again, it's not because I used to hate when people like say, oh, it happens when you least expect it, especially when you want a relationship. You're like, I don't want, you know, like,
well, how do I least expect it?
I not want it, right? Like, I not want it. But it's not even changing your desire. You can still have a desire for it, but you're changing the expectation and the validation to which you think that thing is going to give you.
And how you're showing up.
Back over to where you actually can give to yourself. And then, yes, that's when you can allow it to show up in your life.
Yes.
So the expectation, you start living in this desire and play and freedom.
Yeah.
And honing back into
because you're in that play, you're in that love, whether you're in a relationship or when you're not, you know, whether you're attached to somebody or not, because you always have yourself, you know, that self-love. And I was thinking like, but you also altered and switched the way in which you were responding. And on my wrist I have this tattoo that says non-reaction, like to negativity. And I think that that's also a really powerful form of protection, because like, and it's because it's tattooed on my wrist because it is not easy, because you know, people will try it, and people will try all kinds of things to like sway your energy, to press your buttons, to trigger you. But when you can you know, like you were explaining, like step back at it, you kind of like looked at the situation from above and we're like, well, what am I doing here? Where am I not showing up for myself in the way that I want him to show up for me? And then you dropped it, you didn't react, you were like non-reaction, and then, you know, that creates space, that open space.
And it opens space for the thing that we want to do, because, and you know what, this is about the same thing. Like, I love hearing stories because it helps me relate to like, you know, other things that we can do, especially for our business. We're talking about force and not force, right? Force and hustle, force and alignment. So even when we're talking about that, the difference is I could have forced him, right? I kept trying to force him. It wasn't working, right? Like, listen to this, you know, tell him all the reasons. Like, how much will that do? And then on the other side, how does, whatever I can say. Like, how does fucking feeling sexy as hell, walking around, dancing myself over there, this feeling like in my whole body, like feeling bomb as hell, right? Of course he's going to want to chase that, or like, hey, wait a minute, give me more of that, or like also want everybody to know that that's his, you know? So that's such a different energy than trying to force him to do blah, blah, blah.
And I think that completely like also relates to business, and when you're really like owning your business, but like it even like in business of things that you want so bad to happen or whatever, like you have to sometimes, you know, drop it, kind of like not react, kind of like let go, and make sure that like in love relationships, like you're happy, you're full, you're complete, you're having fun, whether this business thing is moving through for you or not, like whether you have this money or not.
And like, that's magnetic. That's what's like capturing, like someone that's having fun in their gifts, like just sharing it. Because sharing and inviting is so much different than like pulling and controlling and trying to get, right?
Yes. Oh, I found the quote that I was looking for. It was actually just, and it's a Kanye West quote, kind of controversial, but he actually said so this week. He was like, call me whatever names you want. If you don't understand why I will not back down on my business, my brands, and my children, then you're the ones who are crazy. Because I feel like, you know, people will try, no matter what it is, no matter if you're a billionaire, whenever you're one of the most rich people in the world, will try to like shake you off your ground, try to like push you off, so that you will fall back from your dreams, your passions, and if your passion is your family, your children, whatever it may be.
But like,
when you stand in that, you know, people can't. That.
I'm like, oh my God, something just came to me too. It's like, you know what? It is energetic protection. I'm even saying this to myself. Like, it's energetic protection. If you are afraid, that's me. Or if you are afraid, also, you know, if of people judging you, of your family, your friends, and people not supporting the thing that you're doing, how will you be when the masses, also like the public, are also not supporting you or disagreeing with what
that can happen?
Like, that's energetic protection. So if you can't, it's like, it's your homework right now to get right with the people around you. I feel like invincible there, right? And then you can hold more, you can have more, because you're also not going to be like, if I'm not worried about my family not supporting this, then why would I be worried about anybody else?
Right. And to get right with the other people in that way, I feel like the only way it's so simple, but we make it so hard, and we make it like our minds like, oh, well, I don't have enough space to do this or whatever, or enough time to do this or whatever. But it's like when you can just hone in on yourself and like meditate, you know, in the mornings before you get on social media, before you get in the craziness of all of the stuff that is happening, you know, in our world right now, then you have this like, you open up more gateways to this love and this self-love, and then people start just like snapping into alignment, you know, the way that they should be. And some people will fall away too, and you just have to learn detachment in that, and you have to just like have your dreams like in your foresight, in your vision, no matter what, like no matter what people are saying or chattering about. Because like exactly like you said, if you can't take the heat when it's your friends, if you can't take the heat when it's your family, you're not going to be able to take the heat when the masses are, you know, scrolling through your feed and, you know, or looking at your husband's feed and your, you know, like whatever it is, you know.
Shoot. But you know, one thing that I think I'm just gifted with in a different way also is I also want to teach, like what's really, really passionate for me, like I really want to teach to love, you know?
Yes.
And the thing is that though that can be really painful, not having the support of your family, not having
oh my God,
friends. But what I really, because I think what's different, and you know, I'm just saying it's different. Kanye is on his own journey, and I'm excited about the things that he does do. He's a creative artist. He's a magnificent person.
Right.
And then also there's other things that, yes, that we may have judgment, but he might not have any reference points about. And we might have reference points on this, but there's so many things that we have no reference point either of the lifestyle that he has, right?
Right.
So what I want to say about that is I still want to figure out, and as I keep on in my own inquiry in spirituality, also bring to the surface that no matter what type of support we have, we can still have love.
Right.
Someone can disagree with us, someone can have opposing views, people can all that, but there is a way that we can still love.
Right.
And we can, it doesn't mean that we can allow that thing for us, or that we would allow that thing for that person for us, or even that we approve of it.
Right.
But we can still love and not like the action. Does that make sense? We can still like love people and not like the action, and they can still have like recourse, or there's also, it doesn't mean that there's not any reprimand. And I think this is something that I really needed to learn coming from different abuse. Right? And really understanding like, okay, like what's relevant for that person at that time. And it doesn't mean that even in forgiveness, like you can forgive without actually like condoning the thing. Like it doesn't mean that thing was right that they did, but I can forgive and let go of it in my own life. Like I can pull it out of my own heart.
That's protection.
Let that go. And that's right. That allows a lot more protection around me, around what I'm doing, around my creativity, around the space in my mind. And I can still just wish that they change, you know, like wish that it changes, and wish that they also find love, because someone that's really, really in love with themselves and that has love to the core, they don't do things like that.
Right. Not at all. Not at all.
If we can just have more and more love, like that still can just win it out.
And so one more Kanye quote is, that we need to be overwhelmed with love and inspiration. And I think that that's just like, that's the core, that's the center. And that's what fuels conscious entrepreneurship, because it's like doing things, you know, out in love, doing things out of love. And it's like when you do that in your career, your business, and relationships, like, you know, everything changes. And I had a great experience this week, actually, also of going to a amazing, like, love-fueled event. I think in a couple episodes back, maybe 1 or 2 episodes back, we were talking about the Revolution Ramblings podcast by Umber Khan. And I went to one of her talks. She has these satsang talks that she does internationally, all over the US and different venues, like internationally. And she picks, like, you know, I think her followers, her community help her with different venues in different cities. But she's been coming to Oakland a lot. And so I was lucky enough to catch her when she was in Oakland. She also comes to LA, everywhere else. But it was such a beautiful event, because it was just like, it was women mainly. Like if there were men, there was, like, you know, a few boyfriends and just a few, you know, sprinkles of guys here and there. But it was just people who were so open-minded to hear about consciousness, to hear about ideas of revolution, to hear about mind-opening ideas. And, you know, and she just lets her audience really just ask her questions. And then she goes off on little, you know, on little sub-talks about like each thing that they're really bringing up. But I met so many powerful connections that I needed, you know, along like my business journey. But like, I let them go for a bit because I was like, you know what, however this is supposed to come to me, like I know it will. And then just like I met like the right contacts I needed to meet, and I went to the event on a whim. Like I was just sitting at my co-working space, and at the last minute just clicked the button like, all right, let me just buy this. Let me just go, because community is also a huge form of protecting your energy, protecting your magic. And she gave away little like crystals. And she had crystals on each seat. And this is like a selenite heart crystal. If you're on YouTube, you can see this. If not, go to YouTube. But so yeah, these are, and it's funny because I was also thinking like, I need to go buy some selenite. And then like it was just at the event also, because selenite is a crystal that's really great for protection and also transmuting like negative energies, especially when you're sleeping. And like astral travel in the astral realms, they say like to put selenite under your pillow if you're having like, you know, either like psychic attacks or just issues with dreams and feeling kind of attacked in your dreams and stuff like that. Wow. But hold on. Let me just, it's such a beautiful, beautiful event. Like the location, there was like brick on the walls. There was beautiful plants everywhere. You could hear the crickets in the background. And there was like, it was just like a literal starry night. And the train, like the Amtrak train was also like kind of in the back way of the building. So you could hear like the train, the crickets. It was just you know, beautiful. Yeah. And everyone says they create, you know, this is a safe space. She literally like cultivated such a safe, protected, I could tell she did protection on the space, but you just felt so protected in the space. And it's just like, you know, there's sometimes you just worry about like catty girls or not being able to like go up and speak and say hi. And it was none of that energy at all. And okay, so you know how I was talking about the fountain, the concept of the fountain from her podcast in the previous episode. I met the woman who she basically like created that concept for, or she said that in a reading with her name was Desiree, that's when they came up with the fountain concept, because Desiree was always like, I need to go, what's happening next, what's my next thing. She's like a Gemini sun like me, and I think either Aquarius moon or rising like me, so she just was like, let's go, where is it? She's like, but I want to stay at the fountain, but like I just, you know, it's hard. Like, you know, like what's next? Let's go to. She had like her work outfit on. Like she was just like, and she was gorgeous. Like she had, you know, everything was, the face was beat. Like it was amazing. And she, but that's why they came up with the concept of the fountain, because she was so just like, you know, ready to get to the next step. Like what's next, you know, kind of like impatient about waiting. Like patience is really hard, I think, for us, like as Geminis, for sure. And so they came up with the concept together, and it blew my mind that I was just like, whoa, like I'm literally sitting next to the girl that I was talking to, like about the fountain, and this is wild. And I had no idea that she was, you know, from Oakland or anything like that. Or I thought that, you know, it was just like a podcast episode, but it had a whole story behind it. And I had a whole conversation with, you know, the woman about like the concept of the fountain. And we both agreed that it feels like more synchronicities have been happening for us in our lives and our businesses, like as we've kind of, you know, stepped into that divine feminine part of ourselves, and like, you know, just chilling at the fountain, chilling like, and enjoying the here and now, enjoying like, you know, the presence of life instead of like forcing everything and rushing to the next step all the time. It's like, let me appreciate and celebrate the here and now of this moment, of this thing that I just accomplished, of all of the YouTube videos that I've just done, of the courage that I've had to like, you know, to like new things or whatever it may be, you know? So,
okay. That's what it is. Like celebrating exactly where we are. All the different things that even happened this week, right? That you can celebrate, and like getting those posts up. I And just exactly where we are, just as what you're saying, like,
because that's protection too, I think, because that's gratitude, you know?
Yeah, exactly. For me, I am starting a sugaring studio, which is like, you know, sugaring is a natural form of waxing, and it is like sugar, lemon, and water. And I, as an esthetician, liked waxing and also needed it because I have a lot of hair, so it was the thing that I needed. And also, I love laser, but I was never really fully into it because it would irritate my skin a lot. So I found sugaring. Well, a friend of mine told me about it 2 years ago, so I was interested in it. But again, that was something that I was like, okay, I'm not going to play around with that right now. I don't have time to learn that for one. I'm not even doing esthetician stuff. I'm coaching. Why would I even? But it kept on digging at me. And what do I have to do? Like, this is what I tell my students. It's like, if something is pressing you, it's like you have to go play there. And like, you have to follow that desire, what's there for you. So, you know, just like a lot of other people, I don't know completely where it's going to end up, but I was like, okay, fine. Like, I've been interested in playing with this. I want to figure out what it is. I want to learn more about it. And what I did is I took a training. I went to go work for a company for a little bit. And I fell in love with it. I like it a lot. And it's fun. It's been fun engaging with other friends and family and other clients. Like I've sugared over 200 women. And then I opened a studio, and it's a great start. And I opened like this past week, and I just got a Google business profile, and I made a website, and I have like an Instagram too for that. And it's called sugarmama.la. So it's really cute. I like it. And again, like, it's fun and for play right now. And that's why I said, so another thing is like, everything leads to the other. And there's more to come about this later, which we'll talk about because we're talking about what's relevant each moment, right? And energetic protection around all the things. But what's so interesting is I had a conversation with an acupuncturist. So there's 2 acupuncturists that work there. That's another thing. I was like, oh, wow, actually, this is a really healing space. There must be some reason why I was brought here to start here at this moment. And we were having a conversation because I plan on also doing facials and my coaching out of that studio. But she was talking about hypnotherapy and like my voice, and also just what to bring in that space. So again, more about that later, but that just was like, oh, wow. It was like a moment where we just had together. This was on Wednesday. And I was like, oh, this is why I'm here.
Yeah. So let's take a moment to celebrate Modest Stacy's grand opening of her own studio space. Oh, yay! And it's called Sugar Mama LA, right? And Sugar.
Yeah.
And we will be celebrating this on the Instagram today, you know, with some posts. And you guys can, we follow on Instagram like our own businesses. So you can check out, you know, who we follow, which is just like us, our business, you know.
Also, Brett's vlogs, like, I just saw that also the Los Angeles one was just super cute. Well, of course it's cute because we're in it too.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love the artwork for each one that you're doing, and also for Fempreneur Friday. It's amazing.
Yay. So that'll be like, we always put our updates because, you know, we usually just post on Fridays, maybe sometimes Thursdays, but all our updates are in the highlight section of our Instagram page. So you can check out, you know, what we're doing there and join the community, you know, talk to us, send us DMs. We're open to hearing from you and what you're doing on your journeys, what you're creating, what steps you're on. We're glad we're back on here, you know, live and to share our weeks with you. So share your weeks with us. Tell us what we can help celebrate, you know, that you have,
or what you want to hear more of, you know, because we love these. Like, it also helps us. So, you know, just that reminder of energetic protection, about, you know, starting as a beginner, about starting in play, about being aligned over something you're trying to control. I think we talked a lot about some great different distinctions here.
Yes.
And that we can really carry out throughout our week. So
yes, and protect your energy this week, people. Definitely protect it. And, you know, just know that, like, just keep reminding yourself that your love comes first, and that'll open up everything else. And keep asking yourself, am I loving myself first in this process right now that I'm in whatever I am doing, every moment of every day you're doing. Like, get in the habit of kind of asking yourself that, and things will surely shift. And wishing you so much love and so much protection this week.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Happy Friday.
Next week. Happy Friday. Celebrate.
Yes. Fempreneur Friday is a conscious entrepreneurship community and a safe space where consciousness meets cool in divine feminine celebration, and where we align over hustle.
Think about it as your own delicious happy hour for the week. It is a live, raw, and real community conversation with us, your girlfriends.
I'm Brett Sims, an entrepreneur, artist, and the founder of the global art nonprofit Stuck Designs.
And me, Stacey Wigiseria. I'm a mom, author, esthetician, self-love coach, and founder of Exalted Woman Being. We are here to elevate in the community and connect with you all. If you're ready to take your spirituality and business to the next level, join us. Also, check out our companies to support your ascension and to give back to underserved girls through art and self-love.
You can check out more on me, Brett, and my art, coloring books, and self-love affirmation cards that will support you on your own art and self-love journey, relieve stress while giving underserved girls of color the gift of art. Follow at Stuck Designs, that's STUK, on Instagram, or visit stuckdesigns.org.
And you can check out more about me, Stacey, at exalther.com. There you can find out more about my book, Exalt Her, 12 Ways to Unleash Your Unstoppable Beauty. It's about being more of who you are from the inside to out and sharing more of your gifts with the world. I host workshops and coach one-to-one around aligning with yourself, your life source, and your legacy. You can also find out more and follow us on Instagram at exaltedwoman.com.
Happy Friday and have a great week.